Flagler County. This is Danielle Anderson, your host of Lifeline, the radio show connecting you to positivity in our community. And we have Kay Click in the studio. Good morning, Kay.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks for being here. I know you're super busy, and so it's always nice when you can make time to be here.
Sure.
Um, I, we discovered you last year when we were working on the hurricane preparedness breakfast.
Right.
And you had this really interesting concept, and I was like, that's perfect because people who've been impacted by a hurricane could definitely benefit from what you do. So tell people a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Okay. Well, I for my business, I refinish furniture. That's what I do for a living. But I started a nonprofit last year called Furnishing Hope, and the reason behind that was because refinishing furniture. I get a lot of people wanting to give me furniture that they either no longer need. They've had family move and just don't want it for what various reasons or whatever. And I was like, there has to be something we can do with this furniture other than give it to Goodwill or, which there's nothing wrong with Goodwill or Habitat, but, to give it to people directly in need.
Yeah.
So I am a member of Professional Women of Flagler County, and they give out grants every year. I applied for a grant last year and got a grant and got a shed on my backyard that I store it all in. So right now, I'm partnering with different organizations in the community to find those people who are in need. So I've helped people, some victims of domestic violence, some people who lost their home in a fire. The Evolve Sober Living House in Palm Coast, I gave them a ton of furniture to furnish their house. So just anybody in need.
And it's surprising because there's never a lack of furniture.
No, there isn't. There isn't. There really isn't. And, like I said, I hate to sound old or cliche-ish, but they don't make things like they used to. And so when you find good wood furniture, you want to hold on to it and see how you can repurpose it, reuse it, and someone else can, benefit from it instead of it just sitting or heading for big go to the dump.
I'm always surprised when I look on social media and somebody will say, hey, if you want to come out, I've got furniture sitting out front. Just come pick it up and it's free. And I'm like, that is so incredible, especially when it's really good furniture.
Right, yeah. Sometimes it's really good. And then sometimes it's like, okay, yeah, I understand why you put it on the curb, So it's hit or miss. But
that's always really cool. So how did you come to be in Palm Coast? Tell us about yourself.
Okay, I'm originally from Charlotte, and about 3 or 4 years ago, my youngest moved to St. Pete, and then a year later, my oldest moved to St. Pete, and it was our intention to retire in the St. Augustine area, but we weren't ready to retire, so it kind of got accelerated, and we just decided to move to Palm Coast. We just liked it. St. Augustine was a little too busy for us, a little too touristy, and so we just came a little bit further and said Palm Coast is it, and we loved it. So my husband works remote, and I had my furniture refinishing business there, so I could easily move it.
And North Carolina is kind of known for really good furniture, too.
Yes, there's a lot there.
I remember we lived in Virginia. My parents drove to North Carolina to buy furniture.
Oh, yeah, a lot of people do because they still make it there.
Like actual furniture.
Yeah. Yep.
That's cool. How did you get into the furniture business?
I had been refinishing furniture for myself since like 2008, and I was in corporate real estate for a long time and decided I wanted to do something different, and ended up buying a do-it-yourself studio, and where we made kind of like farmhouse type signs, stencil based, and just using different things or whatever. But in the meantime, someone asked me if I could refinish furniture, and I said I've been doing it for myself for years. I thought everybody did it, and then so I refinished something for this lady, and then somebody else asked me, and it just kind of snowballed. And I'm like, hey, this could like be a really legit business. So that's kind of where it started. That was in 2020. So
that's really cool.
Yeah.
So do you have any like special training or just?
No, well, not really. I mean, it's just kind of trial and error. Watching different shows. My dad was a woodworker. I mean, he was in construction and he built things, but he just did basic like staining. He didn't, paint or, refinish, but just kind of just looking, like I said, looking at different videos or whatever, looking at HGTV, things like that. But it's just, but there is, different techniques and, different things to do. So.
Well, even staining in and of itself, if you don't do it right, it could come out very wrong.
Yes. And it can be sticky and it can be, splotchy. It's just,
not look good.
Yeah.
So what are some of the furniture pieces that you like to work on?
I love to do dressers just because I feel like people in their bedroom furniture, they tend to, maybe they'll do something a little bit different because not everybody sees it. It's not out there and it doesn't have to necessarily be as, I don't want to say generic, but just kind of, more
matching.
Yeah. So I'd like to do that. Mostly those. I do a lot of kitchen tables, a lot of resurfacing kitchen tables. So
I was just got my daughter out into her first apartment, and then she had a budget, and I said, "Well,
hmm
let's go look at Goodwill. Let's look at some of these places." And
yeah.
I was surprised at how much actual really good furniture there was. It's
hmm
got some nicks and some scratches and things like that. And I'm like,
Sure.
"Hey, you can refinish this." And she's
Right.
like, "I would never be able to do that." Like, what do you say to somebody like that?
Well, I try to encourage people. You can. I mean, it takes time. It takes patience. You can't rush things. You can't. You have to be patient. It takes paint a while to dry. You have to let it dry properly to make it look right. That type of thing. But it's and it's not a huge thing. If you paint something and you don't like it, it's just paint.
Wow. You ever thought about teaching classes?
I did. I did. Well, the studio I had, we taught people different techniques and for the painting because we did paint signs and like I said, it was all stencil based. So I have, but I don't really, that's not really for furniture. It would take a long time. Like I
Yeah.
could teach you a process, but like to refinish a whole piece, you'd either have to do it like in stages, or it couldn't be just like a 2 hour class.
It would be like week over week over
Yeah,
week,
well,
maybe.
yeah, at least, yeah, three or four sessions. Because, like I said, you have to properly clean it and prepare it, and then if it has to be sanded or stripped, depending upon what you're doing, and then you have to prime it. You let that dry, and you have to paint it, and you let that dry, and then if you're doing any other technique, you have to, So it's a little involved.
And so, what does some of the things look like for you?
Um,
Because we see, I don't know if you like some really, really old, interesting looking things that where
mhm.
people are like, is it distress?
Yeah.
Or they
So
make it look old?
yeah, it makes it look old. So yeah, you can make it look like it's been beat up, even though it's
Yeah.
not been. So I do that. I use a lot of antique glaze because people want it to have kind of that antique kind of oldish look, like just in different places, on creases or whatever has like a little bit darker. A lot of people down here want a beachy look, so kind of like a washed look or a weathered type look.
Yeah.
So that's different as well. It's just you can use all kinds of things. It's really amazing. I've used a dog's brush for his hair, like
Ooh.
to make a technique in the top of a table, a whisk broom, some just crumbled up aluminum foil, just different things, to make different techniques. So,
It sounds kind of similar like the things they used to do on the painting on the
hmm
walls.
oh yeah, like sponge painting and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. hmm
That was really
I
cool
did that.
stuff. Did you?
Yeah, a long time ago at one of my houses. Yeah.
I think that's amazing. And it's so interesting like what you can actually turn it into. And then it really becomes kind of like a centerpiece.
Sure. Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's amazing. So we're going to take a quick break and we're going to talk about Furnishing Hope and what it's all about and why you love it so much.
Okay.
So we'll be right back.
Good idea on the water.
I know, right? Everybody's like, no, I don't need any water.
Mhm.
And I'm like, don't worry, you'll need
As
it.
you're talking, yeah. Right.
Oh, also, people start to get a little nervous sometimes.
Yeah.
They're like, all right, so we are back with Kay Click and we're talking about Furnishing Hope. You know, when you think about the name, just what it says, everything about what you're doing,
hmm
how does that inspire you when you wake up in the morning?
It just does. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel like I'm really helping people and giving them hope. That's what I wanted to do, and that's kind of how I came up with the name because I do furniture. So I was furnishing. I played with some different things, and I'm like, no, I don't. What am I trying to convey? So if you hear Furnishing Hope, you might not know exactly what I do, but once it started, it kind of makes sense because I feel like even though people might not have a lot of money, and whatever their circumstances are, you need to give them hope. So even if I can give them a little bit of dignity, a little bit of hope, a little bit of something in a piece of furniture, if it's a bedroom set, if it's a kitchen table and chairs, something like that, that just is what I'm trying to accomplish here.
So when you're doing this and you're meeting with the family and or the individual, do you look at them and say, I have this one piece I just know would be perfect for them?
Um, yes and no, because sometimes they just are like, we just want anything, when I didn't actually meet the people, but I did help a lady that was in a domestic violence situation, and she had two little kids, and so she wanted to dress her for their things. So I kind of, messaged with someone that was messaging her, back and forth, and kind of created something, something special for her kids, just a little bit of a design that, was just kind of fun, something like
Kind of
that.
lighten it up a
So,
little bit for
yeah.
them.
And so it's just not, here's a white dresser.
Do you ever
Yeah.
get like cards or thank yous from folks?
No, not yet. I haven't really been doing it a lot yet. I mean, like I said, it's only been about a year. So, no, I mean, I'm just appreciative. Like, you could just see it on their face. The people, the one gentleman, I helped, he year before last lost his house in a fire around Thanksgiving. And so he came and I literally gave him 2 trailer full,
Wow.
of things. And he could just tell he was just so appreciative, so just that.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about just losing everything and then
Hmm.
someone doing like what you've done,
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be a tremendous burden off of their mind.
Right. Yeah. I mean, they're not, everybody's really quick to jump in, which is great with like the clothing and food and those kind of essentials, right away. But furniture's a little more involved. It's not something that people are just going to go out and buy a mattress or a dresser or something for somebody. So,
And
but they need it.
honestly, you don't even really think about it. When we think about disasters,
Hmm.
I think it's the food and the clothing
Right.
that we
Which
think
is,
most of.
well, yeah. And that's essentially, that's what you need immediately, are those things too. But then later on, kind of after things have, not necessarily settled, but it's like, okay, yeah, God, it'd be nice to have somewhere to put these clothes that everybody's donated.
Right? Or a bed
So,
to sleep in.
yeah, right.
That's so
Yeah.
crazy.
So,
So, what do you like? What do you like to work on for families?
like I said, usually the bedroom furniture, just because, that's usually their individual space, that and tables, like kitchen tables, because a lot happens around your kitchen table between meals and homework and just general conversations, games, whatever. You do a lot around your kitchen table. So that's really an important piece to me.
I think so. Congregating around the
Hmm.
kitchen table.
Yeah.
So, has there ever been a piece that's like been a challenge for you that you were like, I just don't know that I could save this one?
Um, I actually have a piece right now. I was trying to, somebody donated it. And I think it was left either in a garage or somewhere where there was some moisture. And so like the screws are rusted. I can't get the handles off. The handles, for the drawers are rusted. So that's kind of like, I'm like, "Ugh, I don't know if I can salvage this. I'm trying, but so I'm working on it. Yeah.
Is there ever like a piece that it's too far gone? I mean, do people bring you pieces and say, hey, I'd love to know if you could refurbish this for me?
Yes. Quite often. And most of the time I really haven't had anything that was too bad, especially if it's real wood,
Right.
you can probably salvage it or something. A lot of people don't, they think just because something's heavy that it's wood. And I'm like, not necessarily. So you have to kind of get into it and show them. And those pieces, yeah, it's just kind of like really would, be better just to buy something
Oh
than
my
try
goodness.
it.
Do you build anything sort of like you could replicate what they can't have fixed?
I have built a few little pieces. I don't do a lot. I've done just mostly like end tables, coffee tables, that type of things. I haven't gone into like a dresser type situation, but
You built a table?
yeah, a coffee table and an end table.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was fun.
You're gonna be like a real wood factory,
Yeah.
like building
Yeah.
furniture here.
And that's another thing. You gotta have the room for it. Yeah,
Wow.
but
So
yeah.
when we talk about kids, we used to have shop class and
Mm-hmm.
home ec and things like that.
Right.
How important do you think it is to still have those skills even as we get
Oh
older?
yeah, very, very much, because you are, they don't teach things like that, but it is valuable because if you have something at your house that happens to break or whatever, what are you going to do? I mean, you can call like a handyman or something, but it is helpful to know how to do stuff like that. My dad knew how to do everything. I mean, like I said, he was in construction, but he could work on cars. He could, he built additions onto the house. He built furniture. He did electrical, plumbing, whatever, and that's just because that's kind of what they had to do. They didn't have the money to go pay somebody to do it. So you kind of had to learn. And now I feel like you can do that still. There's so many resources out there. You can YouTube something to figure out how to, fix the sink or whatever.
To change the air filter in
Yeah,
your car.
yeah, yeah.
You're like,
So
oh, it's
you
what?
still need people, specialists, that are trained electricians and stuff like that. However, but if there's some simple things, that's very important. I feel like, and are like painting. you know,
Oh yeah, that
something like that.
and some of that stuff is really fun and like
Mm-hmm.
relaxing, kind of
Mm-hmm.
therapeutic almost.
Right.
Oh my gosh. So where do you envision the nonprofit going?
I really want to expand, just expand my reach. So, like I said, I've been partnering with some different organizations here, and I've got a couple of feelers out that I'm waiting on to talk to some people. But I really just I would love to have a place at some point big enough where I could have people come that need the furniture, and then maybe also have a side like if somebody needs or if they come in and they want like a coffee bar or something. Somebody who's starting over doesn't necessarily need a coffee bar right off the bat, but they
Right.
need a dresser. So if I could take something, make it a coffee bar, have someone buy it and take that money and give it to people, it's great to give somebody a bed set, but if I don't have a mattress, then it's not really, that's not helpful. But if I could take the money from something I refurbished and buy mattresses or bedding or, sheets or whatever.
So you'd like to
So
create basically a showroom
yeah,
to sell your
yeah, that would
refurbished
be
items.
that would be to help fund the nonprofit.
That's really
Um,
smart.
I haven't, I've gotten a couple of donations just from people who I've talked to, and they're like, "Oh, that's great, and here's some money," and I'm like, "Oh, thank you," but I'm not out fundraising necessarily right now. But like I said, it is helpful if I can give somebody a mattress to go with the bed frame because I don't take anything. I don't take used mattresses or
Oh yeah.
don't take any couches or anything like that. It's mostly just all wood stuff. But
Do you know how to reupholster?
I do not. I just made a contact with someone who does that because he doesn't want to do the refinishing part. So I'm like, this would be great.
What a great
To
partnership.
partner. Yeah, he just called me actually Thursday. I met him. So
Wow.
yeah.
So you're gonna be like the go-to girl because I don't think we have anybody in the community that does what you do.
Well, I've met a couple people that refinish furniture, but a lot of them are more artists.
Yeah,
And I don't want to
it's
say that
different.
I'm not an artist. Like I can't draw a turtle or a mermaid or something on that. I can do different techniques, but I can't. I'm not just artistic like that. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, they do them kind of. They're more like showpieces. This
Right.
is like
Mm-hmm.
practical furniture that
Right.
you're really going to be using.
Right. Right.
That's,
Ideally, the things that I take in, I don't want to have to do anything to them if they don't need it. I mean, I will, clean them up or whatever and make them look nice. And or if it's not a time sensitive thing. If somebody needs a dresser and they want it white and it's brown, I can give me a week or two and I can get it to you. I'm happy to do that. So
that's really cool. So if people have furniture and they want to donate it,
Mhm.
can they contact you?
yes, my cell phone is everywhere. It's on all my social media pages. On my I don't have a website for Furnishing Hope. I do have an email. It's k furnishing hope at gmail.
And it's KAY
KAY furnishing hope
at
at
gmail.com.
gmail.com. Yeah.
And then so they just contact you and do you come pick it
Yeah,
up or
I
they
can
have
come
to
pick
drop
it
it
up.
off?
Either way, mostly I do go pick up a lot. My husband has a truck and he works remotely, so he is pretty flexible. So if we need to go pick something up, we can.
Is there anything that you don't want to take in?
Right now, like I said, I don't want couches or chairs, any kind of what I call soft goods. Like I said, no mattresses, nothing like that. I'm just taking mostly what I'm looking for is dressers, nightstands, end tables, coffee tables, kitchen tables, and chairs. Now the chairs, understand some of the chairs have padding, which is fine.
You can work with
that's fine.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
What about like hutches or chests
No,
or
not
things
so
like
much.
that?
Those type of things, like I said, that would be something I could flip and maybe make into something else to sell. But I feel like somebody who is just starting over or whatever doesn't necessarily need that right
Right.
away. Maybe a chest, but not necessarily the hutches.
That makes
Like,
sense.
yeah, and they just take up so much room.
They are. They're huge.
So I got a 10 by 12 shed, so it's
It's about
it's
enough.
limited.
Well, unless somebody wanted to donate a showroom to you,
Sure,
right?
yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah, that would
You
be
could probably
great.
get a tax write-off at this
Mhm,
point.
right?
That's
Yeah, and
amazing.
that's another reason I did started the 501. It's a 501c3 because I had someone contact me from a junk removal company, and they wanted to donate furniture. They wanted to not take it to the dump, and that's kind of where it all kind of started. And so I said, hey, well, that way I can give them my tax ID and they can write it off on their business.
That's
so
amazing.
that's to help. I'm not, like I said, I'm not really making money. I'm not trying to make money off of my nonprofit. I'm more of a facilitator. So
Kind of like the middleman.
yeah.
That's really cool though, because a lot of people think nonprofit like fundraise all the
Mhm.
time. And
Yeah.
yours is more like, hey, let me give you some furniture, and
Mhm.
if somebody buys something,
Yeah.
that supports it.
Right. Yeah, and that's exactly it. That's what that's my goal is I'm not saying I'm not going to fundraise, but the fundraise will be to buy the
Well,
things I was saying, a mattress or sheets or a pillow or whatever.
the
Yeah,
accessories that go
yeah,
with what you
yeah. It's not.
created.
Yeah, it's not going to be to make any money for myself.
So, do you have furniture right now? If someone needed some, that they could
Yes,
give you a call.
yes. I do. I have. I don't have a lot right now. I just actually gave some to a gentleman who was just in a bad situation, and so I just um, gave him some. But I've got some bed frames. I've got a dresser. I've got a coffee table. And I am actually starting on Monday going to get a really big donation from Advent Health. So
Oh wow,
yeah, so they're redoing their hospice house. So I am going to be getting the furniture from the old house.
how
So
helpful is that?
very incredible. So yeah, it's going to be great. This is just why I really want to, find the people that need it, so we can get it to them.
And how do they get in contact with you if they wanted to see if it's something that they might be able to use?
The best way is to call or text me. My number is 704-609-7124, and I'll answer. Or there again, email me at kfurnishinghope@gmail.com. Either one of those. You can find me on, if you just look up K-Click on Facebook, you can probably find me. So
That's awesome. And I know you do so much out there. I see you everywhere in like
yeah,
social media doing all kinds of fun stuff. So,
yeah.
thank you for having time to do this. I
Thank you.
appreciate you.
I appreciate you letting me have my voice.
Well, definitely, if you jump on our social media at WNZF News Radio, you can see on the Facebook page. This is what Furnishing Hope looks like. You can find out information about it, and you can see Kay and on her smiling face as well. So, thanks for doing that. And just one more time, tell them that number.
704-609-7124.
Awesome. So, if you guys need anything, just please reach out. She's got you covered.
Yes.
So, we
Thank
do
you.
want to thank WNZF News Radio, Flagler News Weekly, the Vigilante Philanthropists, Massage by Natalie and Company, and also our Benjamin Moore Paint Store right here in Palm Coast for sponsoring our show. And we'll catch you guys next week.